Chronicles of the Galactic Angelic Guardian. Part 2, The Rift and the Return, Extended Edition. Stars are not silent, they remember. They call to those who have forgotten themselves. Fragment of the Celestial Codex, recovered on the ruins of Thalion Prime. The Silent Quadrant. The Orion Reach had not seen starlight in centuries. Its suns burned faintly now, smothered beneath clouds of industrial ash drifting from Dominion forges. Black warships patrolled the emptiness like carrion beasts circling the remnants of life, their hulls etched with screaming faces, relics of conquered civilizations. Here in this hollow sector of space there was no sound, no hope. Only the weight of the Dominion, crushing every spark before it could breathe. Until the heavens trembled. It began as a ripple, a faint shimmer that danced across the void like heat mirage. Dominion scanners registered an anomaly, but it was dismissed. Space anomalies were common in the dead zones, unstable wormholes, decaying singularities. Nothing to fear. Then the light came. The tear in reality. At first, it was only a pinprick, a single point of silver in an ocean of black. But it pulsed, growing brighter with every heartbeat until it swelled into a wound, splitting the night in two. The void itself screamed as molten fire bled from the fracture, cascading in ribbons of radiance. Every Dominion vessel in the sector veered toward it, alarms shrieking across command decks. Orders thundered through encrypted channels. Contain the anomaly. Destroy it if necessary. But nothing could contain what stepped through. The Angel emerges. A silhouette formed within the rift, tall, unbroken, wreathed in flames that sang like a choir of suns. Then, with a sound like the breath of a newborn star, the figure descended. Wings unfolded behind him, vast as galaxies, every feather etched with runes that glowed with primal energy. They did not flutter, they commanded the void itself, bending starlight into a halo that crowned his form. His armor shimmered like molten silver veined with gold, bearing scars older than worlds. Across his back hung the Sword of Elysion, its edge burning with a heat that could sunder reality. The blade was alive, thrumming like the heart of a dying star. His eyes opened, two pools of incandescent fire that reflected the birth of creation and the promise of its end. The void fell silent. Even the Dominion ships hesitated, as though they, too, felt the weight of prophecy pressing down upon their souls. Then the angel spoke. His voice was not a sound, it was a resonance, a vibration that rippled through hulls and hearts alike. The light returns. The first battle. The hesitation shattered. Dominion admirals barked orders, and the void erupted in fire. Plasma lances and antimatter shells streaked across the darkness, converging on the lone figure descending through the flames of the rift. But Seraphael did not falter. With a single motion, his wings flared wide, each feather blazing with radiant fire. The onslaught shattered against them like glass against a storm. Space itself bent around him as the energies were absorbed, refracted, undone. Then he drew the Sword of Elysion. The blade sang, a note so pure it cleaved through soundless space like a hymn of vengeance. Seraphael moved, faster than sight, his form a streak of brilliance carving through the heart of the Dominion fleet. A dreadnought loomed ahead, its cannons vomiting streams of annihilation. Seraphael did not evade. He met the torrent head-on, spinning in a wide arc as the Sword of Elysion carved through steel, flesh, and shadow. The dreadnought split in two, its core bursting like a crimson sun, lighting the darkness with fire. One strike, one ruin. He surged onward. Ships fell like autumn leaves before the storm. Cruisers shattered under the weight of his blade. Corvettes spiraled into death flames as his wings lashed like whips of light. Dominion warriors, creatures bound in obsidian armor, rushed from boarding pods, only to be swept into oblivion by a single stroke of radiant wrath. And through it all, Seraphael did not speak again. The hymn of his blade was enough. The price of return? When the last Dominion vessel broke and scattered into the void, silence fell once more. Seraphael hovered amid the wreckage, his wings glowing faintly now, their brilliance dimmed. Pain gnawed at him, not from any wound inflicted by his enemies, but from something deeper. A fracture within his very essence pulsed like an open wound, bleeding radiance into the void. He looked to his wings. Feathers crumbled into ash before reforming, each regeneration tearing at his being. He gritted his teeth, not in fear, but in fury. The rift had not left him whole. His resurrection had a cost. Every surge of his power widened the cracks, unraveling what bound him together. The more he fought, the closer he came to annihilation. And yet, the galaxy called to him. Worlds still suffered. Darkness still reigned. There was no choice. He turned his gaze to the stars and whispered a name that tasted of memory and betrayal: Vorgath. The shadow stirs far away. In a citadel of black stone coiled around the husk of a dead star, something moved. Chains of living shadow writhed as a figure rose from a throne carved from the bones of fallen titans. His armor gleamed like midnight oil, veined with crimson light, and upon his brow coiled a crown of darkness that screamed in 100 voices. His eyes opened, twin voids where stars went to die. A smile cut his lips as he felt the rift's echo ripple across the cosmos. "Brother," Vorgath murmured, his voice a blade sliding through silk. "You've come back to die." And with that, the shadows began to march. Next in the series, Part 3, The War for the Stars. Seraphael begins his crusade across shattered worlds, forging uneasy alliances and reclaiming fragments of his lost essence. But the Dominion is ready, and Vorgath has a plan that will break even an angel's soul.